In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the top reasons what has kept me going in consulting for the last 7 years. Hi everyone, welcome to Insider Gyan. My name is Soumi. I'm an IIT Delhi and ISB Hyderabad grad, and for the last 9+ years I've been working in management consulting and banking. And on this channel I share my experiences. I get some of my friends to share their experiences as well, so that it can help some of you in your career journeys as well. So if that's something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now coming to this week's video, थोड़े दिनों पहले I had put out a video about my ISB placement experience, and that video had sort of blew up, and a lot of people asked me what are some of the reasons what has kept me going in consulting for the last 7 years, especially because initially I was not planning to get into consulting as my first choice, but I ended up here somehow and I've been here for the last 7 years. So what are some of the reasons for that? And let me start with my first role, which was right after ISB. My first reason is, as soon as I joined consulting, I found it to be a very refreshing change from the work-ex that I had previously, which was in the finance field, and it was very technical. Consulting, however, was a good mix of technical and problem solving and strategy, a lot of interesting frameworks to be used, and initially I used to find it very fascinating on how people in consulting use frameworks to structure their thoughts and essentially just to break down a bigger problem into smaller pieces of solvable problems. The first few months I was just in awe of absorbing everything and getting to know the consulting field a little better. So that was probably the most interesting phase in consulting, okay? The second reason is initial days itself, like the first few years, I used to find it so interesting to just see what kind of problems businesses face. And I was in awe that अच्छा businesses इस तरह के problems से deal करती है, and how do you really go about solving those kind of large scale problems. Basically, consulting gives you an insight into what is going on in the minds of the CXO level people, like the CEO, CFO, CIO kind of people, and that was very interesting for me to know. Just to give you a few examples of some of the cases that I've worked on. My first project was actually a hospital client in the healthcare sector, and those guys were struggling with maintaining utilization levels of their surgery rooms, okay, like their ORs. Honestly, it was not a very complex problem. So essentially their problem was during certain parts of the day, they had a huge demand in their surge of demand in their ORs, and then there were certain period of time when the ORs were just lying open and empty, no one was using it, and it was just a lot of manpower costs that they were wasting. Essentially, just with a little bit of optimization of how the rooms could be used, it was an easy problem to solve. But still, it was interesting to know that the hospitals couldn't solve for themselves because it was really not their core competency, and they got such a big consulting company to solve that issue for them. Then another interesting problem I had solved on for one of the clients was a banking client moving to the insurance industry. They were launching an insurance product, and they had absolutely no idea about how to go up setting up their business, like how to set up their operating model, including things like what are the different business functions that are going to be involved in that operating model? How is information going to flow from different business units, within different business units, and also within the different IT systems that were placed inside that bank? What are some of the activities that each of those business functions would be doing? How many people will actually be required in each of those business functions to get the business running? So those kind of things. It's like a proper operating model design kind of a problem. So all of these different kind of problems that businesses deal with give you a very good insight. And if at any point of time you have to start your own business, like a startup or just not even a startup, like a side hustle, these kind of learnings play a major role. So that's something that I found interesting as well. And then the number 3 reason that I want to talk about is the variety of work that you end up doing in consulting. Strategy consulting projects are usually very short tenure, about 2 to 3 months, which means that every 2 to 3 months you are taking up a new project You are solving a different problem using different data, using a different approach altogether. Not only that, you are also working with different people, different teams. So that way, consulting is very, very fast paced and very less monotony when you are working. Also, some benefits like, if you end up not liking working with someone in the team, then you can just choose to not go on a project with them next time onwards. And if you really like working with someone, then you can continue to build your rapport with that person and continue doing more projects with that person and build a network so that that person keeps supporting you throughout your journey and you keep supporting that person as well. Of course, there's a flip side to all the different things that you end up doing in consulting, that it makes the industry very, very, very fast paced, and every 2 to 3 months you also have to come up to speed on a new problem, which is the flip side. And sometimes you just don't want to go through so much stress and pressure, right? But personally for me, I enjoyed the fact that I did not have to do one piece of something for a really long period of time. And every 2 or 3 months, my role changed, which was very, very interesting for me. The fourth reason what kept me in consulting, at least in my first role, was I did a lot of US-based projects. So that specific role, right, it was based in India, but the agreement was that whenever there was a US project, I would travel to US, spend my time there, work in a front-end kind of a situation along with the US team over there. And then when there were no projects, I would come back. So that was sort of the agreement. And during those days, all the organizations were going through a huge visa crisis. Like, it was not very easy to get an H-1B visa, go through the lottery process and get it sanctioned. But somehow it worked for me. I guess I was lucky, and which meant that I was one of those few people who had a US visa, which the company could send me to US and work on different kind of US problems, which essentially for me meant that I was traveling to US very frequently. During the year, about 60 to 70% of the time I was there working with teams over there, and that was a huge learning experience, right? I got to know how Western markets work, what kind of work ethic those people have. Initially, I was a little intimidated also, but eventually I caught up. So there were essentially two things, not just a very new work environment, which kept the pace for me and kept me sort of interested, but also a lot of travel opportunities. I mean, I was spending so much time in US for the first time, which also meant that every weekend we would check out of the hotel and go and explore a new place in US, which had a different fun element altogether. So essentially 5 days we were working, 2 days we were just exploring a new place, and then the next 5 days we were coming back to our base location and working on the client's problem again. So very, very cost effective travel opportunities, and plus it just gave us a break at the end of every 5 days, which was really, really refreshing and welcome. And working in US had a very big third aspect as well, which was the money aspect. I mean, during that phase of my career, wealth accumulation for me was very, very fast, especially because when I was working in the US, I was being paid a US salary and I practically had no expenses because I was going from my base location over there to serve a client, which meant my hotels were taken care of. I did not have any accommodation expenses. So practically the only thing I was spending on a huge US salary was food and then whatever travel we did on the weekends. And especially when that dollar amount is converted into rupees, it resulted in very fast wealth accumulation. So that was a huge incentive for us to keep going in that kind of a role as well. The fifth reason that has retained me in the consulting field is the scope for mobility. I was working in a global firm which had offices practically everywhere across the world, which meant that moving from one location to another for me was very, very easy. And consulting in general is a very location agnostic role because you end up traveling to the client spaces anyway. So it really doesn't matter where your base location is, right? So for example, when I had gotten married, my husband was based in Mumbai and I had a base location of Delhi previously. So it was very easy for me to move from Delhi to Bombay without having to change my job at all, like within the same company. Similarly, when I moved from Bombay, from India to Hong Kong, again, I managed to sort of find myself an internal role and move to Hong Kong as well. So from a mobility perspective, consulting has been very, very rewarding for me. Next, coming to ownership of work. As a person, I'm a very control freak kind of a person. I love to take my own piece of work and do it my way and deliver it my way. And consulting has been very rewarding from that aspect, because from a very early stage, from the junior most level itself, you are supposed to own your pieces of work. The firm is going to give you full ownership of your work. I mean, there are going to be seniors to guide you, to show you the path, but at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to get the work done. If you have any missing data points, it's really your responsibility to figure it out, take guidance from whoever you have to, and get it done, basically. And I have always been that kind of a person, which is why this space has served me well. So from the start itself, the firm would push you to talk to client stakeholders yourself. If you need any data, just ask it from the client stakeholders directly, and present your findings, whatever work you have done for the client, present it to the very senior level clients directly yourself. Like, no manager is going to intervene and present it on your behalf. From a career path perspective as well, you have full ownership of your career path, which means that you have full freedom to sort of choose the people who you really want to work with, and kind of make sure that you end up getting projects with them. Also kind of find your happy space. Like if you want to work in healthcare, for instance, you try and network with the relevant people and try and find your projects in that space, rather than you being forcefully staffed on something or a place or a project which you don't want to be stuck in. Next reason, I want to talk about the perks of consulting, like the additional benefits which none of us really talk about. And the biggest one is hotel and airline miles. So just to give you my example, for example, out of the 4 years that I was in India, I must have spent full 2 years in US, right? Like out of the 365 into 4 days, I would have easily spent 365 into 2 days in US living in hotels, which meant that I could accumulate a lot of the hotel points, and then I could use them later to finance or sponsor my personal vacations. And I have done that. I have sponsored so many of my personal vacations just by using those hotel points. I remember I went for a 2-week trip to Hawaii in a really fancy Marriott hotel, and my full trip was sponsored by just my point. Even when I go to Europe sometimes, in fact, I'm going next week as well, I managed to sponsor all those hotel stays with my accumulated points, which is great. Like, you are saving so much money. These are things which no one talks about, and they're probably not that big things, but they do add up, right? Same with airlines miles. For people who are working in India, they keep traveling every weekend and every week to their base location, from their base location to client location to base location, and you accumulate a lot of miles which you can later use to fly internationally, fly within India for your personal vacations. So overall, I would say these were my reasons to stay in consulting, but I also wanted to touch upon work-life balance, because one of the reasons I mentioned in my ISB placement video is that I didn't want to get into consulting because I wanted good work-life balance, and I knew for a fact that consulting doesn't give you. So a lot of you guys asked me whether I have managed to get work-life balance or not. Now, in all honesty, work-life balance is not something that you really get in consulting, especially if you are starting. You eventually get better at managing your work, managing expectations, but you never really are working from, say, 9 to 5. You are expected to be available whenever the client wants, even if it's beyond 5, even if it's sometimes over the weekends, etc. So in all honesty, when you are just starting in consulting, the work-life balance can be pretty bad, but it gets better as you evolve, as you move ahead in your career, because of a few things, right? Firstly, you learn to prioritize things. You learn to sort of figure out what are the most important things for you and then focus more of your energy on those things. You also learn to say no. I feel like so much is going on in a consulting role that beyond a point, you really have to keep saying no to a lot of people. So you learn to manage those expectations. And most importantly, you find your own set of people who you want to be in good terms with, whose good books you want to be in. The kind of seniors or like partners who are going to support you in your career journey. So you learn to identify those people, and then you sort of start focusing more of your energy on those people and less of your energy on the other people who are not really in your network. And of course, you start getting, as you move up the ladder, you start getting some junior help to help you in the grunt work, and that always helps. Okay, so those are some of the things that has kept me in consulting, but I do want to make it clear that it has not always been a very rosy journey. There have been frustrating times when I have felt like quitting. There have been times when I had to deal with too many things at the same time, and I felt like I was at a breaking point. Those situations have happened as well. For example, sometimes you have to work on weekends. Work-life balance, of course, goes for a top. Travel ends up taking a lot of your time unnecessarily. Initially, travel is fun, but sometimes you feel like I wish I did not have to travel and I could use this time to complete my work, because it's not like you are getting this additional time to travel, right? You are sort of taking out time to travel, taking out your work time, like when you could have actually done the work which you will anyway have to do for traveling. So that's like an added stress, I would say. And then something that really bugs me is you can't just rely on your good work. You have to maintain visibility. You have to go and talk to clients, with your senior leadership. You just have to maintain that level of visibility to, progress in your career, which initially I did not understand. And today I have made peace with it. Overall, I would say the positives have definitely weighed over the negatives. But hope through this video I was able to answer your question on what has kept me in consulting. And if you guys have any additional questions, like specific questions, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you like this video, definitely give it a like and subscribe to the channel, because it's absolutely free for you. And I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then, bye.